crisis communications, I can take 3 things that I learned here and I know it by heart. I don't need my papers with me. The first thing is to nominate people, specific people for specific jobs. Make sure they know how to do that, and be sure that they're going to be there when I need them. So this is very important. The second thing is to appear confident, compassionate, and all the other things we learned. It's very important. And the last thing, and not least important, is to have a budget. You know, we are talking about everything, but nobody really think about budget. And in government procedure, to get a budget, it takes time, sometimes weeks. And we don't have that time on the crisis time. So we need, we really need to remember to have a budget. And I'm taking this with me.
Well, in crisis communication, I think the most important thing to have is a clear, consistent message, because you need to let people know what's going on, but not alarm them if there is no need to it. So the second thing is you need to have a strong team, a strong communication team that know how to deliver the message, how to deal with the press, but also you need a person that knows the crisis, for me, because it gives you the opportunity to create the scope of the crisis you're facing and to build some scenarios for your information briefing. Another thing that is important, I think, it's to have confidence in your spokesperson and to train them with advance, so he can face all the questioning that he could be into a crisis, because sometimes we prepare for crisis, and during crisis things move in a different way, not as we have planned. But if you have someone prepared, then he will be able to sort the questions. For me, what I have learned in this practicum is that it is important to know how to transmit a message, because in my background I am familiar with analyzing crisis, but not with delivering the message, not talking to the people in the outside, what is going on, how is tourism being impacted. But for me, that's important to know that we have to have a plan, strategic plan to follow, to update the plan, because things might change. And for me, that's a lot of information, since I am not a communication person. So I am very grateful for the UNWTO to take me into account, to come and learn, and also to give me the opportunity to share my experience from another point of view to this particular subject that are crises that unfortunately we're all facing on a daily, well, not daily basis, but all the countries have had some crisis, either health or security attached. But I think that if the UNWTO keeps doing this, we'll be prepared as a world to contain the crisis and to give our tourists and our citizens the best way out of it.
Well, for me, what's important in crisis communication is to ensure that you're prepared. At best, no matter how good a plan you have, it will never be the perfect plan, but certainly you have to at least put some plan in place. And seeing that our sector, tourism, is a very vulnerable, even though it's a resilient one, it's quite vulnerable. We always have to ensure that we put systems in place to mitigate against any fallout from a disaster or crisis. Personally, this practicum has been exceptional in my eyes. I believe it really touched on the imperatives that we need to consider as communicators when addressing crisis communications. It allowed us to, in a practical way, examine the steps that we would need to take when addressing various types of crises. Certainly, it would also have given us the opportunity to interface with our colleagues from other countries and jurisdictions to hear what the realities are like in those countries, and many of them actually have dealt with crisis situations recently, and we would have been able to benefit from the experience that they would have garnered and the ideas and recommendations that they would have put forward.
Well, with this workshop, at first I get the chance to learn a little bit of something that I had an idea, but I wasn't really sure about. So now I have more than one idea. I think I know more or less, and the practice will help me, and of course everybody back home will help me to develop a crisis situation plan. But one of the things that make me feel rich in this experience is really having the chance to meet all these people. It's such different realities, so different from my own, and we all respected each other very, very much. Each one has a different situation, some of them very difficult. So we had the chance here to discuss it, to share experiences, to learn a little bit from each other, and it was really, really great and a very rich experience for me. I will never forget it.